Okay, Maxterito. First question: Copa America or Euro?
No, no, Copa America, of course, but
Yeah.
Euro. I mean, there are a lot of self goals, like auto goals in the last Euro Cup, but always with the Americans.
Okay. So, but you follow both, I guess, right?
Yes, well, I only can watch the highlights for the Copa America because it's during the really late
Yeah.
night, or so I can only watch the highlights. But I follow the European Cup.
Okay. All right. Um, Going back like a few months ago, actually like a year ago, when you already found out that you're gonna play 2v2, so after the announcement of KeenCon, did you straight away knew that you wanna play with Rapha, or because I remember like few last years you were playing a lot with Sirius, and you guys were doing really good. I think you were also winning like some internet cups and etc. And you were giving. I'm not sure if you played Wenger and Raze at that time when they were in the peak, but I remember you were winning some tournaments. So that was a very obvious pick for you that Rafa gonna be the your partner, or you had Sirius still in your mind, or even other players.
Actually, well, we kind of talk about it after Sombra did the announcement at
Mhm.
KingCon. We talked with Rafa a little bit, but I wasn't sure because I told him that I might ask for Sirius, and at the time I think Sirius and Keltz started to play some cups at the end of the last year that there were some cups for twos.
Mhm.
So I didn't have any partners, and I think Sirius confirmed me that he was going to play with Keltz, so that was okay for me.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I just told Rafa that I was free, since he told me that he was thinking about moving to Europe, blah blah blah. So since he did it that way, we just proceeded, start to practice.
Okay, because when you guys started, the beginning was quite rough because he was in NA still. And I think that was the time when you guys struggled, basically because of the servers. Because I remember mostly you guys were playing on EU servers because we most of the time we had three EU players and one like player in NA. So obviously we played EU servers and that was the time when you guys were struggling. Did you know at that time that when Rafa moves into Europe, you basically gonna become the best straight away, or you guys also worked some on the side to improve?
I don't know if the best exactly, but we knew that working on the fundamentals and certain details were going to work, because I mean, if you pay attention to the way we work, to the way we play, sorry, it's like we play really high tempo, really high pace, like controlling and doing a lot of pressure on the other teams, and that's something that actually is really punishable when you are on high ping. Like, for example, it has happened to us that certain item, he calls for an item, for example, 36. He saw 36, but then I go to the item and it is 37 or 35. And it's like a really tiny thing, but that is making the game like, okay, you are extending an item for free at the second that you shouldn't be, or some shots are not registered, or some calls are at the not proper time.
Missing, yeah.
Exactly. So at the time, it was pretty rough at the beginning, and it was fine that it happened at the beginning, because
Mhm.
there are a lot of things. There were a lot of callouts or comms that we need to just adjust. Which, I mean, it was fine that happened at the beginning, because if we didn't make the mistakes that we did at the beginning, we wouldn't have improved at all. Like
Mhm.
now, I think that we are finding, and I say that finding because I don't think that, beyond the fact that we have won the last four tournaments, Studies and KingCon, doesn't mean that it's totally perfect. Like, I can see now that we can start like trying to just enforce a little bit more the dominance on the maps, because sometimes we are winning by 15 or 20 frags, and then suddenly we start bleeding too much in a game, and then we we can see the opponents having an opportunity, which is something that online you cannot allow, because I mean, you know that if you can nervous on land, that can actually eat you.
Yeah.
So that's something that we can improve. Of course, there is a lot of time. I mean, this is July and the tournament is in November, so there are a lot of things that we can improve.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. That's what was my impression when I watched you guys. It was you guys basically were playing still the same as you do now, but like with the ping difference and servers, it felt like you guys rushing an item but not dealing enough damage because of the ping. Then you kind of feeding, and when you start to feed it, the more aggressive you play, the more you're feeding, that the faster the score grows, and it's hard to come back after that. But yeah, I see what you're saying. One thing which is very outstanding when you play with Rapha, because I also played few cups with him, is you need to get used to the callouts on the map, which are absolutely complex. Like my callouts with Kilsen are like, it's like I don't even know how to compare it. It's like comparing Ferrari to, like, Volkswagen Golf or something. We have very basic like callouts, like heavy, mega, like upper, lower, first floor, second floor. Very basic. With those callouts, you need to spend a lot of time getting used to them. But then when you get used to them, it feels like it's great. Do you think callouts on the map, just callouts, not like saying timings, giving the enemy position, like calling out the abilities, etc. Just callouts on the map itself, do you think make a big change in the game?
Yes, of course, of course. I think that this was before the first KeenCon or the second one. No, it was the first KeenCon because we wanted to just make a run around all the maps on the map pool, and I wanted to know exactly some areas of the maps. I mean, it's necessary to know every single detail because, like, looking to the right or looking to the left, for example, on Blood Covenant, you say pillars, okay, but pillars or standing at the area, long area of pillars, and that for example for us that area is called short, and that one comes from the map Mirage on CS2, which is the same call out for that game. So I'm just trying to make all the callouts possible, because if you say pillars, it has to be around the area. If it is at short, I just look at short and that's it. It's a much faster, and I think it's a way to be more efficient with your communication, because as you know, there's a lot of comms happening, a lot of things happening at the time. You are timing, you are shooting, and you are trying to understand what he is saying, because of course my first language is not English, it's Spanish, so I'm translating at the same time he is saying something, and if I can understand properly, that can actually just lead on missing where the opponent is. I can miss the a time of an item, whatever. So it's the fact that we are being so precise on the callouts is actually helping us to improve our results.
I realized it. I realized it when I played with him on Deep Embrace, and for example, everything what is under the heavy for me and Kilsen is rail. And for him, it's like rail, it's beach, it's like TP is probably A or B, or like then you got some window, then you got heavy, then you got boxes from the rail to the bridge. It's like it's already 5 or 6 callouts there, And for us, it's the rail area, and it's like just too basic. But yeah, also I wanted to ask. When you guys when he moved to Europe and you started to practice again, obviously the biggest threat for you guys were like Sirius and Keltz. Did you pay, this is also what I asked Keltz on our last talk. Did you guys pay attention to like this certain team only, and you try to kind of analyze it, because I think they are a very specific team. They're not really rushing item together. More likely, Keltz is making some space and creating mess, while Sirius is just hitting from the side somewhere, and it's hard to get to him, and he hits a lot. So it's like a little bit different playstyle. Did you pay attention to it to find out some details, or you just like push your style and that's it?
Well, most of the time we are trying to work on our own style, trying to just force it all the time and make the other team to force themselves to play in a different way or adapt themselves to us. What happens is that I think that there are two ways to play twos right now. Or you play all the items, or you're playing the position. That's the only two styles that I see right now. Probably there's something different, but I don't see anything else. And probably cheaters, they play, and you guys play kind of the same, with some differences here and there. But someone is attacking and trying to get the items, and the other guy has the back of the guy that is attacking. In the case of cheaters, Sirius is always standing in some area, railing all the time. And in your case, for example, I see you pushing most of the time, while Kiltz sometimes is trying to get the angles, trying to get the damage, and you guys do an amazing job. Probably in the case of Sirius and Keltz, it's a little bit more efficient just based on serious aim and also the way that they communicate with each other. Because I think the cheaters they are extraordinaries in as a team. They are really good at understanding each other. Like
Because
Keltz,
what
just
I will just interrupt really quick, because what I realize about Sirius is you might have impression that he's not going for items, but the thing is he exactly knows the timing and he's exactly there just on a big distance. For example, Awoken, he's on water railing the mega, or like on T railing the mega, while Keltz is already dodging somewhere there and you guys focusing on him. And with us is sometimes we are just like not both on an item. So somebody is holding the angle somewhere else and we are not really, and their main goal, they both focus on mega. It's just like Sirius is not very close to the mega, is unable to pick it up, but he's still there. That's why I think they are like better at that thing. But we play very similar, as you said.
yes. I mean, I think that their biggest advantage is that probably Keltz it's really good at team modes compared to his dual skills. And Sirius actually he adapts really good to choose as well. I mean, as a former teammate of his, like I understand that he plays really well supporting you. Like as a supporter, it's really good. And Keltz understands really well when to push and how to push as well. And for example, I can compare a little bit, but not in the same case. With Stoli, because Antoshka is the one pushing all the time in that team, and Stone is the one that is trying to rail all the time. Of course, the differences are very high in that, or very big in terms of probably skills or raw mechanics, but the styles are around that area. And then you can see, for example, Rail, which Rail kind of tries to do the same, but they try to go for the item. But I think that they are just one or two steps away from making it, because they try to do a mix in between what we do and what cheaters do. They try to have the position, but at the same time they are trying to push for an item, and sometimes they don't understand each other when to push or when to hold. So I think that they are the team that is trying to make some variables. You're muted, by the way. I don't hear you.
All right.
There you go.
I hope you heard me all the time before. You did.
Yes.
Obviously, we wouldn't be talking, you know. Anyway, what I said, what I wanted to say, yeah, you are right. They are mixed between you and cheaters as well. Yep, everything working. The thing is, like, they kind of, I got the impression that they're hitting super much with rails. They are very fast and they're hitting a lot. So it's like very hard for me to play against them. And I'm curious, like, what your take on it? Like, how they gonna do on LAN? Do you think they're gonna adapt to LAN, or they gonna actually play worse? But what I heard, like, from Ins, like, they are aware that the server difference is like sometimes making them play in advantage. And I think that's the very good step for them, understanding this and going to LAN, because they know that they need to adapt. The worst thing is, like, when you are like playing some server and you don't understand that it might be different on LAN, and not especially like better, you know. Sometimes it's worse on LAN. Sometimes I don't know. It just feels like that you go to the LAN and you actually need like a microscope to hit the rail, because like it's not gonna connect, like, you know, a bit like of the target.
You know, I'm not that worried about aim on LAN actually, because I mean, you can hit whatever you want being at home. But the thing is that you know that being on a stage, you're going to be nervous. And the moment that you don't feel your own game, you're going to start missing all your shots. You're going to start freezing a lot. And if you didn't train like your fundamentals, like timing, comms, with whatever is important actually.
You have nothing to fall back on.
Exactly. Like we, for example, we know that sometimes we don't hit the shots we should, or sometimes I feel like I don't hit, I don't know, 70% rail, and the other game I hit 20, but I still have all the comps. I still get all the items. I'm still doing damage to take the power from the other team, or doing whatever for the team. But you know, aim, you're not gonna be much better than what you do on LAN than at home, because at home you're here like no one is bothering me.
Yeah.
But on LAN, you have the light, you have the
Yeah.
camera, probably you have a crowd, and
Yep.
the moment that you get nervous and your comms are starting to stutter, like
Mhm.
well,
Yep.
you're fucked.
Yep,
Simple
yep,
as
yep,
that.
yep, yep. This is what I try to explain to some people who play 2v2 as well. The difference between you is like, even if you, for example, losing online, it doesn't really matter because look, our style, it's very like, it's very dependent on how we're gonna play and hit, you know. If we are not hitting, we're not gonna do well. But you always push in the same style. Same was with Rapha and 1v1, and why I think he was very successful, because he always played the same. No matter what, he played online with high ping, low ping, this map, this champ, that champ. He always played the same. He knew his fundamentals and he always played the same. And you had like players coming online from online to LAN, and they were instantly playing much more like defensive. They were like closing themselves, and he was always playing the same. And you guys doing the same in like 2v2, which means it's like similar to poker. If you think that this style works, like let's say not 10 out of 10, but if it works 8 out of 10, you mostly winning 8 tournaments out of 10 tournaments just playing by this all the time and not changing anything. And with like us and cheaters, it might be sometimes okay, Sirius was in the middle of the map railing, but he somehow missed 3 rails. And then you guys, get the mega, get the heavy, they fed, and like out of the sudden is different game than online, you know. So I think that's the case basically, that you always doing the same. So if you're gonna do the same online, it most likely gonna work.
Yes, I mean, you know that online there are a lot of bullshit happening. Like, oh, this shot doesn't register. I was on the item, but I didn't take it somehow. The guy he was, I don't know, a kilometer away from me, and he stole the item. A lot of bullshit happening, and you had to just adapt yourself online. Online, as I just said, if you don't just practice your communication, your timing has to be to the second, because you know that on LAN that shit doesn't fly if you don't if you are not perfect on the item, you are losing everything there. Simple as that. There is no way to surprise your opponent on LAN if you are not there practicing, preparing for it. Simple as that.
Yep. All right. This is what we got. I wanted to ask you about KeenCon. So it's the fourth league online. Are you proud of the project? Obviously you are, because you are creating it. But do you think like we could do something more as a community as a whole, like the viewers, or you guys maybe can do something more, like, or you are like completely like satisfied with everything? Like, what would you like to see more from players, viewers, and like all the people around that project?
Well, I think that we had to be probably grateful with the fact that there is a tournament happening, like a league during
Yeah.
the year. Of course, the problem is that we only have one tournament per month. The prize pool probably is not as big, but you know there are no sponsors, so that's not surprise.
But it's
And
big
also,
enough, as we can see, to play. So
yes,
it's
of course. I mean, if we pay attention, there are a lot of teams playing that you know that they will not get to the prize pool. So, and they are playing for fun, and that's really good. Even on LAN, there are players that they are just participating because they want to play on LAN, and that's it. Probably at the beginning it was much better because there were a lot of teams, players, of course, individual players that were just queuing, for example, on the 2 ladders.
Mhm.
And even I remember that even Bethesda had, well, or id Software had an in-game challenge. So if you play choose and duels, you could get platinum, which actually helped really good, and it was massive that there were a lot of teams playing on
Yeah.
the choosing rank in that time. Of course, that was just for a brief period of time because the players that were queuing only wanted the platinum because it's obvious. But at the time, it worked really well. Probably for the first or second, even to the third month, it worked really well. Then, of course, some teams started to drop playing choose. Now it's harder to just play or queue and play.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
last weekend, I remember that someone told me that it's getting really hard for them to just get games to just get their rankings,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I totally understand. But I mean, the organization tried to just push the idea of the players playing more 2v2s,
Mhm.
and it have worked in some sense. Of course, it's not perfect because you cannot force anyone to play. It's open.
Mhm.
There are things to improve. Probably that's something that you need to just probably at the end of the project you just have to just take.
Summarize, add it up, and
Yes,
see.
summarize everything. Yeah, exactly, and see what it worked, what it didn't, and things like that. But I think that this system worked probably with the player base that we have.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I think.
but
I
I
think.
wouldn't go for once because the study already has that scenario.
Mhm. I think it's just because the player base is not as big. It always seems like it works better with 1v1 for Quake. Even though I really like 2v2 and I think people like 2v2 and the people like to watch, but it's much harder to get something going with 2v2 like this compared to 1v1, and it will be a nightmare to run like a sacrifice league now. For example,
Yes.
it will be like impossible to create any activity. Do you guys even like do you guys have like in your mind like um, going with this project with like continuing with 1v1 next year or 2v2, or you think it's too early to even speak about it?
I mean, I think it is too early to talk anything about it. That's something to just start thinking probably after QuakeCon because
Hmm.
we need to know what's
Something,
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yes. But I don't know. I can't close the door for anything or open the door for anything as well.
Yeah.
So whatever is in the future might depend on what's happening at QuakeCon.
Mhm. All right. Do you think like anything gonna happen? Because like we already had some announcements about Doom, and like what do you think about Doom? Do you think there is a chance that they maybe go for like multiplayer with Doom like in the future to like exchange it with Quake? Or if they are working on new Quake right now, we definitely not getting any info like this Quake, and I think, and it's only gonna happen like Aureus 2025. What's your thought on that? What's your gut feeling, by the way?
Look, I I think that there is nothing on the line yet.
Same.
I prefer to stay this way than rather than be disappointed.
Hmm.
Just thinking that oh yes, probably they are just working on something. No, I'm not expecting anything right now. Probably on the Dark Ages. I mean, I'm really interested in the game because I just play all the Dooms and that
Hmm.
Doom looks amazing. Probably it has multiplayer, but we don't know if they will have esports, which
Yeah.
I mean, it would be rare on the Doom side. But at the same time, if you think about it, Doom is the franchise that its software could exploit more.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you make an esport based on that, maybe you could make that esport even more known for the
For
spectators
people,
rather
yeah.
than Quake.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you talk about Quake today, like what's that game? Quake? No, I don't know. But Doom is a different story right now because Doom.
Almost
Yeah,
everybody knows Doom.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I think that that success, even for younger generations, like my little brother now has I think he has 11 now,
All right.
and he asked my father to buy the Doom Eternal for him because
Crazy.
he saw me playing and he
Crazy.
has it on his PlayStation and he loves the game. I remember that we went on a trip and he was telling me, oh yes, I just play against the Marauder, I beat him, and then I play, I had to just beat the Maker. Like okay, if he was 9 at the time,
Yeah.
if a kid with 9 years old
It's
prefers
excited about it, then
excited.
it's
He was
good. Yeah. Good
excited,
sign.
more excited about Doom than Fortnite because that's the other game that he plays. And
Okay.
he was talking with me about Doom, and that
Yeah.
was impressive to me. And
Yeah.
he also used to watch me during QPL times, and he didn't understand shit. He liked that he likes like oh, it looked like Doom, but it's too fast. Okay,
Hmm.
it's fine. He liked to see that, but he liked Doom even more in that scenario. So maybe they can explore even more on that scenario. Maybe the
Hmm.
multiplayer they can explore even more that. Who knows? But I'm not thinking that they could do something with Quake. But if you
Hmm.
think about it, when Doom 2016 was announced, the next year Quake Champions
Quake was announced. Yeah, true.
Yes.
True.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe they will just try to just make another remaster with Quake 3 Live or 4, and they will try to make the game. They will try to port it to consoles, which it would make sense to them.
Yeah.
Because there are players playing on consoles right now. It would make sense for me if they do a remake right now for Quake 4 because it has a single player and a multiplayer.
Yeah.
And it fits for consoles rather than Quake 3 that it hasn't.
Yeah.
But and if they still work on that, I don't know if you have played the Quake 1 or Quake 2 remasters, but they try to meet the stories that back in the days players used to say that Quake 1 and Quake 2 weren't related at all because the stories were different, and they did it on the remaster. They mix the stories, so now it makes sense. So if you want to just make a theory that they are making a new game based on that, maybe I can believe that.
Creating whole new universe, like connecting everything, that would be cool. And also, I think there was just like too many rumors going on. First of all, second of all, I think it's like too big of a titles like Doom and like Quake Champion or Quake itself, like to just drop it like completely like cold turkey. I don't think it's like. I don't think you're just dropping such huge titles because like they fell down like over the years, but they are still huge titles. Like one of the first, it's always like this with everything, with sports, with everything. So I think it will stay around. I completely don't believe they have anything to tell us like this QuakeCon. I think it's way too early. I think we'll have this break and like anything we can hear like in future, it will be 2025. And a good thing you said is like about your little brother who said that he likes Doom more because it's not as fast as Quake, but it's very similar. That's I think a good path to go because I think in general Quake is too fast for new people to watch and to play. And this is kind of way where Diabotical Rogue is going. They like get rid of the like the whole like movement and which makes the game a bit slower. Did you try the game?
I tried the game. I mean, it was interesting to me, but the fact that you can upgrade your gear in mid games and mid rounds, like I didn't like that concept at all. Like, what am I playing? But probably because I'm not familiar with that concept because I came first from CS 1.6, then from Quake. Like, if I'm playing an FPS, I want to straightforward with a gun and try to shoot and kill the other guy instead of just upgrading my gear. It doesn't make any sense to me. But probably the game can actually get to a point that okay, you get used to it, and then you understand why you are upgrading.
And it's natural. Yeah.
Yes, you said something interested there, because you remind me my little brother said, and Keltz says something on the last interview, which was really interesting. That he said on Duel, he was tired of playing the same maps that other players have played
over
for
there
a lot of years. Yes, I mean, if we think about it, the players that are still playing the game are the guys that have been playing for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we probably could get pissed by some changes.
Yeah.
But we are the core. That's it. I mean, they have to just go for a wider player base. I mean, a game cannot exist with 400 players or maybe 20 players that try to decide what's best for the game. In the end, this is just a business, and in the end, it's just a game. If we enjoy it, much better for us. If there is esports, much better for both of us or the guys that are competing. But we are not at the point that the Quake is successful at all, or maybe big enough to just enjoy it. Like during the morning, I was just checking the stats, and Quake Live, which is a game that was already left behind, and Quake Champions that gets updates here and there, both games are kind of having the same player base.
Yeah.
So maybe they can just think about it. If they want to just have a different game, I would go totally with a single player campaign, and I would have a multiplayer as well. But we'll pay attention to what other games do, trying to teach the players. Like Rocket League teach their players really good. I mean, you know that Rocket League has a skill gap that is really big, but the
Yeah.
player base is amazing.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal, as I already told you, like I don't know how many times, but Doom Eternal teach you how to use every weapon,
Yeah.
because certain demons are just killed by certain weapons. So you
Yeah.
just swap the guns when you have a different demon in front. The same can happen with Quake, but who knows? Maybe they can just surprise us with anything. But at this point, I just prefer to just be
Take
with
it
the
easy.
mindset that there is nothing, exactly, that there
Take
is
it
nothing
easy.
on the line. Just focus on whatever we have now, and if there is nothing on the line, it's okay. The life will continue, and if there is something, okay, we are going to wait for it.
It's like win-win scenario for you, because if there is nothing, you are the savior of the scene, because you are creating KeenCon, so you are the last man standing. Anyway, Maxter, thank you for joining me. I wish you more success in the future with KeenCon, with your like job, with Quake, with 2v2, with everything. I can't wait to see your matches against cheaters again, because I still think they maybe got something in themselves to come back, and it will be beautiful to watch, like, because it's just more interesting to watch, and it's always fun, because like clash of two styles. So I hope they're gonna join next month, and they will create a hell of a show. That's it, and I wish you a good day.
Well, thank you for having me here. And if cheater have something, the harder the opponents, the better will be.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you.